Hi folks, HR Funk here. If everything goes according to plan, which is a rather dubious proposition, but if everything goes according to plan, you should be seeing this video around the first week of December 2024. I hope you all had a great Thanksgiving last week. And this video is going to be something of a departure from what you usually see here on the channel. And the idea came to me when I was looking back through my past videos from 2024, and I noticed how many firearms related product reviews I had produced. And this might have been a record for that type of content on the channel. I haven't gone back through all the previous years to make sure, but there were a lot of them this year. And I thought maybe it would be interesting, particularly right now around the 1st of December, to put together a video where I have some products that I'm recommending as Christmas gifts for the firearms enthusiast in your life. Now, this is not going to be a recap of every single product that I reviewed during 2024. Because some of them, when I was thinking about them, seemed to me that they were probably items that an individual shooter would rather evaluate and select for themselves, and it would be difficult maybe for someone else to pick something that's going to be to that person's liking. For example, I was looking at a particular aftermarket rifle trigger, and I thought there is so much personal preference that goes into something like a trigger that I would hate for someone to purchase that trigger and give it to someone as a gift and then have that person decide that it wasn't quite to their liking and it ends up spending out the rest of its life in a parts drawer somewhere. So I tried to narrow this down to items that I think are a little bit more generally acceptable, if that makes sense. And also these are going to be pretty much budget friendly or value priced items that I've looked at over the years, so it shouldn't break the bank if you want to use these for a stocking stuffer or something like that. I think the most expensive thing that I have on this list is around $400. But anyway, let's jump right into it and I'll show you my list of suggestions for 2024 Christmas gifts for the firearms enthusiast in your life. So here is my first suggestion for a Christmas gift for 2024. And some of you might be saying, wait a minute, HR Funk, there's nothing in front of the camera. Actually there is, and it is this cleaning mat. This is made by a company called Sylvan Arms, and I got this from Optics Planet a while back. I think these go for about 40 bucks, give or take. But I really like this, and prior to getting this mat, I used these sort of soft felt material type mats on top of my bench. And the problem with these things, along with the fact that my daughter's cats like to sleep up here and they get cat hair all over them, but over time these things start to wear and the individual fibers start to come off, and before long they'll end up sticking to your firearms or whatever, and I don't like that. So I got this one. This is a soft rubber type material. It is non-marring, so if you're working on your firearms on here, you don't have to worry about putting dents or scratches or anything in the finish because of the mat itself. Also, there are these compartments all around the mat. The large compartment here in the center is great for if you spill some cleaning solvent or something like that. It's going to stay inside of here and not run all over your bench. You also have these compartments for all the different small parts and springs and tools and whatever else that likes to roll away from you when you're working. You can put them in there and they'll stay put. Also, over here on the left-hand side are these rectangular shaped areas. These are magnets. So if you have a tool or whatever else and you want it to stay put, you can put it right there, and as long as it's something that is magnetic or will stick to a magnet, you can put it right there and that's where it's going to stay. On the very end are these little triangle shaped holders right there, and you can hang this mat up if you want to take it off your bench and put it somewhere else. So all in all, I like this a lot. As I said, I got this from Optics Planet. I want to say they go for about 40 bucks. If you search Sylvan Arms cleaning mat there, this should come up, and I would recommend this item. It's great for firearms maintenance. On we go to EarPro, and specifically, this is hearing protection from IsoTune Sport. IsoTune Sport is the official EarPro sponsor for the channel, and I have a variety of their products, and all of them work very, very well for me. They mostly have many, many functions along with just protecting your hearing. For example, everything you see in front of you here has Bluetooth capability, so along with protecting your hearing, they also allow you to connect to your phone. You can listen to music, you can answer phone calls, you can even access your digital assistant from your phone. In my case, that's Siri. So you have many, many different functions that these can do for you. The prices are always reasonable. This is my favorite one. This is the Caliber BT, which is essentially the same thing as this, but this is the OpMod version, which is the Optics Planet model. And the nice thing about this is, since it's a special with Optics Planet, it's a little lower priced than you would typically see with the Caliber BT. And you see these all the time when I'm out on the range. If you watch closely in the videos, you'll see these earplugs are in my ears. This has a case that charges with this USB-C connector, so the case actually charges the plugs themselves, and this just lives in my Jeep. Periodically I charge up the case, and then whenever I need these plugs, they're ready to go. I like this a lot. These go on Optics Planet for about $100, or at least they did the last time I looked, but Optics Planet runs specials all the time, so you might even be able to find these a little bit cheaper than that. But check out the Ear Pro from IsoTune Sport. You can go to their website, as I said, and look at their entire line, or go to Optics Planet and do a search on IsoTune Sport, and the OpMod version of the Caliber BT should come up, as well as anything else they happen to offer. Next is our first optic recommendation, and actually I'm going to be recommending two optics because I can't figure out which one of these I like better. I think I like them both equally, but for different reasons. These are both, generally speaking, handgun optics, but both of them can be mounted on long guns with the addition of a 1913 rail mount, and there are those available for both of these. This is the Siley, and let me see if I can focus that reticle there to give you a better look, and I'm probably not going to be able to. That might be a little bit better. This is the Siley Wolf 2G. This optic is very reasonably priced, and it has the Siley anti-stig system, which I talked about in my review of this optic. Man, I wish I could get that a little bit more clearly focused, because this has the clearest reticle of this type that I have seen in any optic of this sort. Maybe I got a little bit more of a better focus there. It looks better to me anyway. The reticle actually appears much bigger in the lens than you're seeing it here, and it is a very, very clear circle dot style reticle. I got this back in the spring, and I took this handgun with this optic to a training course, and I like it a lot. Again, it is very, very clear when I look through here. It's easy to pick this up. It's a bright optic, and again, for the price, I really, really like the Siley Wolf 2G. Also, next to it here is the Olight Osight, and I now have several of these, and this one, let me see if I can focus this optic, or this reticle rather. I have the brightness set a little bit too high, but there is the reticle for this one. I really like the Olight Osight because of its rechargeable characteristics. And the very first one of these that I received for evaluation I got back in May. And I charged that optic up at that time. It's now on one of my shotguns, and I've not recharged it yet. In fact, I need to check it again. So it's now been going, whatever we're up to now, 7 or 8 months without a charge. Now, I don't use it daily, but I've been using it pretty frequently through the course of the last year. And the last time I checked it, it still had about 1/3 of its total charge. And I've been waiting to see how long it's going to take for the charge to run down. But this specific one that you see here obviously has the green illuminated reticle. I mentioned recently that I'm becoming more and more of a fan of the green illumination. And now, within the last week or so, Olight has begun to offer both the red and green Osight in a desert tan color, so that's kind of cool. And they've also got some specials going on right now. So if you're in the market for an optic, specifically a handgun optic, I can highly recommend both the Olight Osight and the Siley Wolf G2, or Wolf 2G rather. Either one of these is going to work very well. As I said at the very beginning, I like them both equally for slightly different reasons. The next item that I'm recommending as a Christmas gift is one that I'm kind of embarrassed to say. When I first got the request from the manufacturer to review this backpack, and this is from Three Pigeons, by the way, I think I just deleted it. I don't think I responded to it at all because I thought it's a backpack. How much could there be to even review? You fill it up with the things you want, you carry it where you want to go. But I've got to say, this has become one of my favorite range items over the course of the last 6 or 8 months that I've had this. This is the Three Pigeons Range Backpack, and I have this stuffed full of everything that I typically take with me to the range, and not just shooting gear, but everything I use for the videos. I have my sound equipment in here, I have my Ear Pro, I have shooting glasses, I have all kinds of extra doodads that I might take along with me, tools that I might need. I've got string. I've added some things like the canteen over here in the side that attaches to the MOLLE points. I also have this little pouch down here that I've added, and in here I have some of my microphones, if I can get this open, that I use out at the range. So all kinds of different gear that I have put into here. If I flip this around, you can see my shot timer there. I've also got a Leatherman tool here on this side, as well as a Swiss Army knife. So I have got all kinds of things stuffed into here. I can wear this as a backpack if I'm transporting it a long way from my Jeep, or I can just carry it with the strap up here on top. This thing has been fantastic, and I cannot recommend it highly enough. These right now, I just looked a little while ago, are on sale on the Three Pigeons website for about $100. So if you have someone who needs a backpack, oh, and I should probably open the side zipper here before I get all the way done with this, because inside of here are these little pouches that you can put your handguns or accessories, magazines, optics, whatever inside of. There is a full review on this backpack on the channel, so you can look at that if you want more information on it. But this is a great gift idea for someone who spends a lot of time on the range and takes a lot of gear back and forth with them. Again, this is the Three Pigeons Range Backpack. Next, we have another optic selection on the recommended Christmas gift list. This is another Siley optic, and this is the GT10. This optic is a little bit more appropriate for a tactical carbine. And let me close in the view here just a little bit. This particular optic has, I believe, a 3 minute of angle green illuminated dot, and I like this a lot. These are also very reasonably priced. I have used this quite a bit over the course of the last several months. In fact, I used it just a few weeks ago when I was out groundhog hunting on the family farm, and I used this system to zap a groundhog. Yes, I zapped one with the Keltec Sub 2000. And this particular optic, much like the Wolf 2G that I talked about earlier, has a very clear reticle, and it has worked very well for me. Now, a few weeks ago, I also reviewed the Siley T10X Pro, which is a similar optic, but it has a red illuminated reticle that is user selectable between a dot only, a circle only, and a circle dot style reticle. So if you're interested in something like that, take a look at the T10X Pro. But for a very simple, clean, green dot only, I like the GT10. Again, as I said, this is very reasonably priced, and it is my second Siley optic that I'm recommending on this list, and it's one that if you get it for someone who has an appropriate tactical carbine in need of an optic, I think they're going to like it quite a bit. Here is something that I think would be a great stocking stuffer for someone who might need a tactical style bipod. This is the CV Life bipod, and if you go to Amazon, you can find these things listed on there. They are extremely reasonably priced. I think this was around $60 the last time I looked at it, and there's probably some sort of a pre-Christmas sale going on now, so it might even be a little bit less. There is a full review on this, so I'm not going to go into everything that it does, but obviously it extends. You can position it differently as you might need. It has a locking feature to keep it from moving, but it will also tilt and pan, or you can lock it in place. I think these things are fantastic. They come in different colors, so you can match the furniture on your rifle with these things. So I like this a lot. I like it especially for the price. It is much more reasonably priced than some similar bipods, and you could spend a lot lot more money, but probably not get a whole lot more in the way of functionality than you will with this simple CV Life bipod. The first magnified optic to make the list is the Hilux 1:8 by 24 CMR. This is a very versatile rifle scope, and I got this back in, I'm going to say April or so. You can see it here on top of my Ruger American Hunter. This is where I originally mounted this scope, and I just left it there because I like this combination so much. It makes a very versatile rifle optic when I can go from 1 power for very close shooting all the way out to 8 power. It has a very simple, clean bullet drop compensating reticle that's appropriate for either 5.56 or 7.62 ammunition, and it works fantastically on the American Hunter rifle. It makes a light, compact package, and if you have someone that has a rifle of this sort, and let me move the focus out a little bit, where they just need a simple, light, fast handling, versatile optic, this would make a very, very good package for that person. This next item on the list, I can say with absolute certainty makes a great gift because I received it as a gift. Mimi got me this a year or so ago, and this is the Real Avid Master Gun Vise, and this thing is fantastic. Real Avid manufactures a variety of accessories for this vise to make it even more useful than it is when it comes out of the box. But even so, every time I turn around, I'm finding more and more uses for this vise, and not just firearms related projects, but all kinds of different things that I do with it. This thing is tremendous. I think they go for about $300, but Real Avid has sales quite often, and I would not be surprised if there's one running now. If you're interested in one of these vices, this is probably a great time to look into one. And as I said, it is a tremendous, tremendous tool for anyone that does any kind of work on firearms or has a workshop and they do any sort of other work where they might need a vise. This thing works tremendously. For my magnified optics selections, I decided to go with 3 different options. You already saw the first one specifically. That was the Hilux 1:8 power CMR. For my medium power option, I decided to go with this CV Life scope. This is the CV Life Bear Power. Specifically, this is the 4-16 by 44 millimeter version. These things right now, in fact, I just looked a little while ago, are selling for about $150. And for $150, this is a tremendous scope. Now, no, it's not going to be the same as something that costs 10 times as much as this one does, or 20 times as much as this one does, but for $150, this gives you a side focus that goes all the way down to 10 yards. So it would be appropriate for anything from an air gun all the way up to a high-powered rifle. With a magnification range, in this instance, of 4-16 power, that gives you a lot of range. When I was working as a law enforcement tactical team sniper, my scope was a 4-16 power scope, and I used it for all kinds of distances and all kinds of circumstances. That's a great power range for general shooting. This will get you out easily to 1,000 yards or beyond. This scope has a lot of different features. It is a first focal plane. It has an illuminated reticle. And as I said, for $150, if you have someone who needs a scope in this power range, this is going to be a very good option that's not going to put you in the poorhouse if you decide to purchase it. And last but not least, we have arrived at my final suggested Christmas gift idea for 2024. And this was probably my biggest surprise of the year. This is my selection for a magnified optic in the high magnification range. This is the Discovery Opt ED-PRS Gen 2 5-25 by 56 SFIR first focal plane scope. Discovery Opt does not believe in short names. In any case, as I said, this one really surprised me when I got out to the range because I was not sure what to expect really. This scope MSRPs for about $300, and in that range, with no previous experience with Discovery Opt scopes, I just didn't know what I was going to get. And I was very, very impressed with the performance of this scope by the time that I left. The tracking with this scope was outstanding. And if you go back and watch the review video, you'll see that when I conducted a box test, the final shot that I fired essentially went through the exact same hole as the first shot that I fired. This has an illuminated reticle. It has a fairly complex reticle. It's going to do virtually anything you want it to do. It has a magnification all the way up to 25 power. That's going to get you out to very, very long range. The side focus parallax adjustment goes all the way down to 25 yards and all the way up to infinity. So that makes it tremendously versatile. You can use it at close range and all the way out to very, very extended distances with that top magnification of 25 power. The windage and elevation turrets are very large and easy to read. This scope comes with scope mounts, or excuse me, scope rings that are very high quality. For what you're paying for this scope, and again, I have not looked, but I would not be surprised if this was on some sort of a Christmas special, you get a lot of optic for $300. As I said, I was very impressed with this optic, and it is my pick for a high magnification range rifle scope. So there you go, folks. That's my 2024 list of suggested Christmas gifts. I hope you enjoyed it. By the way, if you want more information on some of these products, all you have to do is go to the YouTube search window and type in HR Funk and whatever the item is that you're interested in. Most of these I have full reviews on the channel, so you can find detailed information about those products in those reviews. Also, stop by hrfunk.com, that's my website. Go to the products page, and many of these have links to the manufacturers, and there is information below those links that might save you a few bucks with your purchase for these items. Lastly, I want to say I'm not getting a kickback or anything for any of these items. These are just suggestions I'm making to you, so think of that as an early Christmas gift. See you next time, folks, and until then, good shooting. Bye-bye.